I'm not gonna lie. That entire Erwin Smith scene had me in tears. When he was like, my soldiers fight, my soldiers rage, my soldiers... He kept saying more lines to just inspire the men behind him. I'm not gonna lie, if I was there, I probably would have been like, where's my horse? I'm gonna get on it and do a death charge with this man. Because, seriously, that was such an emotional moment for Erwin's character, but just for the series in general. It really summarizes what Attack on Titan is about. And, you know, I hate to say it, but honestly, this is what Game of Thrones should have been. Like, that charge at the end of this episode. But I'm not going to get too deep into that one. So anyways, Erwin Smith, what he did, it just deserves so much respect. And I think that it really goes to show how amazing the writing of Attack on Titan is. People like to hate on it because it's popular, which I think is really wrong to do. Just because it's popular doesn't mean you should hate on it. You know, there's a lot of reasons why Attack on Titan is a fantastic series and why it's made it this far as an anime and as a manga series is because of just how quality it can be. Moments like what we saw within this episode is the main reason to why this series even survived a 4-year hiatus for a season 2 to come out. Not many anime can really survive that and still keep its fan base to still hype it up and enjoy it, so that says a lot. But getting into Erwin Smith's character, he is someone that is very complicated. We found out about him, his overall motive, in the first half of this season, you know, a few months back. We found out that he was someone that was very selfish. He was someone that always believed in his father, and he wanted to prove that his father was right, figure out things, and he really did not care for humanity. In reality, he cared about his own life. He made it to where his life was more important. He just wanted to achieve his goal. He didn't really care about the grand scheme of things of humanity. That's what he really, stood for. That's what we found out about him. And this episode really just goes full circle. We get to see where his character ended up. And in a time of desperation, what he would necessarily do. And we get to see the fundamentals of his character. Because if there is one thing that you know for a fact, is that when a character or any individual is about to die, usually they show their true self. Their true essence of their humanity comes out. And in that moment, we got to see Erwin Smith in a position that we really haven't seen before. He was someone that had options, but he didn't want to do his only option, and that was do a death charge straight towards the Beast Titan and sacrifice himself. It's an order he has given a lot, thousands of times. Honestly, at this point, Erwin is known for his charges like this, but most of the time, he's never one to really be on the front lines and actually be there to die. And this was probably the hardest decision that he's ever had to make in his entire life. When he leans up against the wall and sits down, and he's talking to Levi, he starts to talk about his old comrades. He's starting to talk about how he is as a person, how he is someone that wants to see the basement. He's fought hard for so long to be able to see what's in the basement, to be able to see what the truth of the world is. And that was his whole reason of being here in the first place. Why he's made so many sacrifices is to be here in this moment. And you see it to where he's conflicted. He's like, there's a couple of options. I have an option to where I can get up and go to the basement before I die, and I can see it, and then I can discover the truth for myself. That's what he said in the last episode. Another option is he gets on Eren and they ride out back to within the walls. But in turn, it would just delay the inevitable. For instance, humanity would be effectively over at that point because their forces are pretty much dwindled down to almost nothing. So the point here is that Erwin realized that he needed to make a difficult decision. Does he be selfish? And does he throw everybody away just for he can live another day and may never even be able to get his goal? Or does he sacrifice himself for someone can, surpass him, succeed him, and, they can actually save humanity? And it seems like an easy goal, because at the same time, Erwin, as an individual, he's never been the one to put himself there. He's always made others die. And so when he's leaning up against the wall, and you just see him like he's about to break down, he's all emotional and all that, and he's talking about his comrades, wasn't meaningless? Was everybody that died wasn't meaningless? Like, what is the reasoning for their death? Like, did it have any meaning? And there's just so much there. And when you see Levi talking to him and kind of snapping him back to reality, waking him up, and he's like, I order you to charge in the vanguard, on the front lines, to your death against the Beast Titan. That moment meant a lot, because it kind of saved Erwin from having to make the decision. Because he was someone that technically has never done that, and so someone ordering him to die, it was honestly kind of like him repenting. Because he has sent so many people out there to die, and so him actually being sent out to die, it's kind of like it's coming back to bite him. But he was willing to accept it because it's what's important. At the end of the day, his selfish desire of wanting to see what was ever in the basement wasn't truly what was important in that moment. It was saving humanity. And so, with the balancing of the scales to determine what he wanted, was it his selfish desire, or was it humanity as a whole? He chose humanity. And so, when he got into the front lines, it was probably the truest speech that he's probably ever said in this entire series. Erwin Smith is known for his amazing speeches. He's known for some of the greatest moments of this series. He's a fan favorite character for a reason. And he's always had amazing, speeches. But for the first time, I think the speech that we saw within this episode was straight from the heart. Like, everything he said was no longer lies or him conning people like he said he's done as a con man. He put all of his passion, all of his feelings, because everything he said in that moment was literally back to himself. It was reflecting onto himself as well, because he was wanting there to be meaning for everybody that's died. Everyone that he's thrown out there onto the battlefield up against a meat grinder, he wanted to find meaning, in their deaths. And so he rushed in, and he was willing to lead the charge. And it's just amazing when he's like, fight, my soldiers, rage, my soldiers. It really gets you. It gets everybody's emotions just, really amping up. And everybody there heard the truth. Erwin did not try to lie at all. He was like, you all will die. We are all going to die in this charge. We are going into our death. That's basically what he said. And that is very true. No one is going to survive this. Because of just the shrapnel of the rocks coming in at you, it's unlikely anyone's really going to survive this. Even Levi himself could potentially die before everything is said and done. But it's the only thing that they really could do. And so those emotions he had, charging and all that, it's amazing. And when you see the rocks come in, fly, and hits him, and he looks down, he faces the same thing that countless others before him has faced. Death. It's an amazing moment. Honestly, this episode is just straight up incredible on so many different ways. Like, they really went all out. Wit Studios did a very good job. The animators, to the studio, to the voice actors, just the music director, just everything about this episode hit every note properly. Like, the voice acting, just the roar and all that of the soldiers, everybody charging into the music amping up as, they're charging in towards the Beast Titan, to just seeing how it was a hopeless situation throughout the entirety of this, and it kept getting worse and worse, even from Armin and Aaron's side of the battlefield. It was just a hopeless episode, and basically at the end, it was just a blind charge into death. So, I gotta say, fantastic. This is how you do a final charge. This is how you handle an amazing moment of a series and really live up to people's expectations. This is a really good episode. So, to shift it over to another scene, let's go over to Armin and, Aaron's situation. So, there isn't a whole lot of progression there besides getting to see Armin's going through issues towards giving him, character development. he is someone, after what happened in the last episode with his decision trying to read Bert, he failed miserably, which costed probably many people's lives, even Hanji as well. And because of that, he blames himself. He blames himself that he's really not meant to be in a leadership type role. He's not really good at being able to read people. And so he has John actually do that for him. He's like, John, I need you to figure this out. You need to have quick thinking and figure out how he can get out of this. And overall, John did prove himself. He proved himself that he is really good at quick thinking to get things done right. But at the same time, though, Armin, he's through a lot of issues right now, mentally. Like, he's someone that needs to have courage within him to be able to figure out a plan. Because right now, he is the only reason, or the only person that really can get him out of this. Because even though Levi is charging the Beast Titan with, the Death Squad just rushing towards the Beast Titan, and even if the Beast Titan is taken down, it does not change the fact that there is a Colossal Titan and an Armored Titan there. And if they cannot figure out how to get rid of the Colossal Titan, they're still going to be back to square one. It's still going to be just as hard to be able to deal with him. So obviously, Armin needs to be able to figure out how to overcome this hurdle, come up with a plan, and it'll feel very earned when he finally does figure out something. So it's a really good moment, too, for his character. There is a lot of character development going on both sides with, Erwin Smith, but also Armin as well. And just seeing John as well in a leadership-type role is something I think many are going to be a fan of as well, because we get to see how he's able to lead a squad if he must. So, anything else left to discuss? I don't think so. So, I think I want to wrap it up there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.